You are now within minutes of horror, because I do now believe that the powers that be do not want us to fly. Somebody does not want us to fly, and you know what? I am perfectly okay with that. I remember I made a comment in one of my videos, one of my plane videos, where I said, I'm no longer going to fly anymore. And then somebody responded with, well, that just means that they win. You let them win. And you are damn right, I'm going to let them win. Because no way am I going to be stuck with a PSYOP 30,000 feet in the air in a metal tube. Now, it's already bad enough that I have to fly once in a while for my job, and as I'm sitting on the plane with my ass cheeks so clenched, it's like I'm sucking on the world's most sourest candy, because as I'm sitting there, I'm remembering all those plane videos that I have created, and the person sitting next to me is watching the sweat beads drip off my face, and they're sitting there thinking, is this man about to pop off? Is this man one of those MFers that are not real that Tiffany G warned us about? So I have been a nervous wreck when it comes to flying in 2023, and I have already been a person all my life who already had a fear of flying, but these news stories coming out in 2023 really amplified that fear factor. Now, it is one thing for a person to be on a plane and see something that terrifies them, whether it's a ghost, a demon, a lizard person, or even an MFer, that is one thing. But it's a whole different ball game when you have people actually messing with planes. Now, I made a story a while back about how there was this bogus company that was selling bogus airplane parts to airline companies, big airline companies like Southwest, United Airlines, American Airlines. So what they were doing, they were going to these airplane graveyards and taking spare parts off of older planes, much older parts, and they were reselling them to these airline companies as new parts. And so these airline companies were taking these older parts, putting them on these planes, and these planes are flying long distance with these older parts meant for shorter distance. So that had all the spellings for a catastrophe. So here's the problem. Yes, that bogus company was in trouble for selling these parts, but these massive airline companies have technicians, they have engineers that put these parts on these planes. And why didn't these technicians, why didn't these engineers, why didn't these mechanics know that these parts were older before placing these parts on these planes? So it's very scary to know that something like that is happening, but we actually do have scarier news when it comes to planes. So when it comes to airline companies, there is actually a pilot issue. Not only are pilots dropping dead from heart attacks and other diseases, and they are getting sick, but also is the fact there is a massive pilot shortage. So to compensate with that issue, what's actually going to happen is that pibots, AI pilots, are going to be introduced, rolled out in 2026 to help fill this void. So pibots, AI pilots, even though they are artificial intelligence, at the end of the day, they are still computers. The number one issue when it comes to something like this, when it comes to a artificial intelligence flying a plane, is of course hacking. There is a misconception that computers already do all the work when it comes to a plane, and that is not really true. Pilots are still there, human pilots are still there to guide the plane and make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. But even that is going to the wayside. These pibots are there to guide the plane, maneuver the plane, and any style of plane with the flick of a switch. This is a very terrifying thought, because now we have stories coming out where hackers are taking over planes' GPS, and experts are absolutely lost how to fix it. Now get this, since August alone, there have been over 50 recent reports of frightening cyber attacks that have altered planes' in-flight GPS, leading to what experts describe as critical navigation failures on board of aircraft. Now, me personally, I do believe anything with a computer in it is hackable. The best human brain can hack the best computer. And that's what makes this story frightening. What's frightening is that industry leaders thought this type of hacking was not possible, that GPS hacking was just a myth. Now they are at a loss over how to fix now this glaring security failure. Now, as we all know, those who have been subscribed to me for quite a while, I do not believe in coincidences. I am not a coincidence theorist, and this is not a coincidence channel. So look at this very odd coincidence. What was thought not possible is now possible since late August, and it has been observed throughout the Middle East, mainly over Israel. August, we're being told that the GPS systems on planes in Israel are being hacked. In September, there are signs going up in the United States to report for acts of terror. Then in October, the United States and Russia conduct their emergency alert system. And then, of course, on October 7th, there is that huge event that breaks out in the Middle East. Then what happens after that? The government then proceeds to issue a worldwide travel advisory, a worldwide caution when it comes to traveling. Due to increased tensions in various locations around the world, the potential for acts of violence, demonstrations, or violent actions against United States citizens and interests, the Department of State advises United States citizens overseas to exercise increased caution. There's this certain thing about the powers that be that they have to warn us ahead of time before they carry out their false flags. They do this predictive programming through media and other forms of news like this right here, where they're issuing out this worldwide travel caution. So when they carry out these false flags and when something does happen, they can always say, well, we did warn you that something was going to happen. It's like a karma system for them. It's very weird. It's very bizarre. So these people who are flying, they are telling themselves, well, TSA is on top of their game at this airport. I have nothing to worry about. I don't see anybody suspicious. I am good to go. But what they don't understand is acts of violence on planes, acts of violence being carried out on planes, is not like it was 10 to 20 years ago. People who want to create acts of violence on planes or people who want to carry out these false flags no longer have to send somebody on a plane and that person have to take over the plane. That's not how it works anymore. Now how it works is that everything is being hacked because everything is controlled by a computer. This cyber attack is called GPS spoofing, when a navigation system is given counterfeit coordinates. It isn't new and applies to all modes of transportation. 10 years ago, a group of college students at a University of Texas bragged that they moved an $80 million yacht off its course as a school project. In 2015, a security researcher also hacked a United Airlines flight and modified its course as a warning over security flaws. But what makes this more terrifying today and why it was thought to be deemed impossible is that these hackers have now become more sophisticated, and these hackers are still at large. They have recently learned how to override an airplane's critical inertial reference systems. That crucial piece of technology is commonly called the brains of the airplane. So what was done previously was just simply spoofing the vehicle's coordinates, but what's being done today is full complete control over the plane's navigation and is leading to navigation failure. One plane, a Gulfstream G650 from Tel Aviv, on October 25th, experienced full navigation failure as its systems had marked the plane 225 nautical miles off its actual course. And a Boeing 777 endured spoofing over Cairo airspace and was falsely thought to be stationary for half an hour on October 16th. Since November, there have been more planes added to the list that have been hacked and have received full navigation failure. Now listen to this. This goes back to what I was saying. Aviation experts are warning that with the global climate, the pattern of attacks began shortly before October 7th. It is even quoted that nefarious, though yet to be identified forces are likely behind this, and the consequences could turn an international crisis and possibly the loss of an innocent civilian aircraft in the region that is already a high-risk area near an active conflict zone. The problem with this is that the government let us know that these style of attacks are no longer confined to active conflict zones, that it's possible it can happen anywhere around the world. They have, like I said, released a worldwide caution. What makes this even scarier is that these articles are saying that the people that are hacking these planes, they can't be identified. They don't know who these people are, but they have already found their enemy behind their hacking. They are saying that sources trace back to Iran. So these people, they can't be identified. We don't know who they are, but we know what country they're from. We know they come from Iran, the country that we currently want to really go into battle with, a country we really want a conflict with. So in one part, they are telling us that this person could be from America, could be from China, could be from Europe, could be from South America, could be even inside their mother's basement. But at the same time, they are telling us, no, they're from Iran. Truth be told, they could be from Iran, but it seems like there is a lot of back and forth as to where these hackers are actually from. But a day after this story broke out, today actually, and again, like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. There has been news that Israeli hackers claimed to have shut down an entire airport in Lebanon. A group of Israeli cyber warriors called We Red Evil's very ominous name have been active since the beginning of October 7th, announced that they are responsible for shutting down an international airport in Lebanon. The international airport in Lebanon is paralyzed and some flights have been canceled. They claim that most of their systems, including their navigational systems, have been disabled. This cyber attack at this airport is a response from Israel due to a cyber attack against Israel. There is a group that is hacking dozens of Israeli websites in recent days and have even leaked personal details and sent out false messages in the name of the national cyber system. So it looks like what's going on in the Middle East is just not a ground battle, it's just not a battle in the skies. It is a cyber battle. This cyber battle, of course, is going to spill over to the rest of the world, mainly the United States and possibly even the United Kingdom. Now, the United Kingdom has already seen something like this in August as well. And remember, this style of hacking has first been seen in August. Back on August 29th, 2023, a technical failure that saw hundreds of flights delayed and canceled across the United Kingdom was caused by problems in some flight data received by Britain's National Air Traffic Controllers, and they claim was not a cyber attack. Yet, at the same time, we're being told that these style of cyber attacks where these planes, their navigational systems are being hacked completely, have been noticed to begin in August. Well, isn't that just a coincidence? Well, days after this, on September 5th, United Airlines here in the United States had to ground all their flights due to a computer glitch. Now, just like in the United Kingdom, United Airlines is not blaming hacking. The carrier stated a software update caused a widespread slowdown in United's technology systems. So while they're telling us there's nothing to worry about, everything is okay, these countries in 2023 around the world are conducting an emergency alert test. Airports are being hacked. There are signs being put up across the United States to report acts of terror. And then we have this event, like I said, going on October 7th. So they knew something was going down way prior to this, and we were still conducting traveling as usual, business as usual. With what's going on in the world, with all these people panicking on planes, and one of the theories is that they could be crisis actors, and now we know there's hacking going on in ways we couldn't even imagine. Planes are really looking like to be the scariest mode of transportation, I'm not going to lie. And on top of everything else that's going on in the world today, we do know the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, do not want us to travel. They want to limit traveling. They want to do their best to limit gas-powered cars. They want to pretty much stop altogether manual-driven cars, but more importantly, they are really against airplanes. When it comes to airplanes, they always use that big bad boogeyman known as climate change. They say commercial flying affects climate change more than any other mode of transportation. Now, when I do say mode of transportation, I do mean public transportation like buses, trains, and cruises. Gas-powered cars are still considered to be one of the worst offenders when it comes to the environment. Gas-powered cars and manual-driven cars are on the chopping block to being done away with altogether. But the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, know that this is a hard to impossible task to carry out right away. But what they can do is limit people from flying by instilling these fear tactics in them that flying is a very scary way to travel. With all these factors, what was once known to be the safest way to travel is now the scariest way to travel. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.